everyone, my name's Christina and today I'm showing you how I transformed from this into this. My version of Draculaura from Monster High using all Mehron products. First, I'm going to go in with the Mehron Fantasy FX cream makeup, mixing the red and white to get the perfect light pink base. The Fantasy FX cream makeup is great because it's a water-based makeup, so that means you don't have to worry about setting it with powder if you don't want to. It does dry down pretty fast, so I like to use a makeup sponge to quickly make my way around the face to make an even application. And as you can see here, I did forget to do my ears, but I will eventually get to it, I promise. Next up, I'm using Mehron's Intense Pro Hot Pink Pressed Pigment, and let me tell you, it is intense. I started with very little on a fluffy brush and applied it in a patting motion just so I can really control how much I'm adding. I like to just gradually build up the color rather than possibly going in with too much right off the bat. So I'm adding the products onto the cheekbones, jawline, and temples. Then to blend the contour in with the light pink base that I have under it, I'm just using whatever was left over on my brush and patted it all around my face to make it appear more cohesive. Next up, I'm using Mehron cheek powder in the shade Bold Red to add even more definition to my eyelids and face. First, I go in with a small dense eyeshadow brush to the crease of my lid and then use a fluffy eyeshadow brush to lightly blend up and outwards. I repeat those steps again by adding more onto the outer portion of my eyelid and the bottom lash line. Now onto the shading of the nose. I want my nose to appear more slim and kind of cartoon-like, so I continue to apply the Bold Red cheek powder, starting with the area right under my brows, going down each side and wrapping under the tip of my nose. Then back to the face, adding a small amount into the contour to give it more definition. Now for the brows, I'm using Mehron's Intense Pressed Pigment in the shade Carbon. Using a liner brush, I'm creating small hairline strokes, building the color little by little to add more density. Next up, I'm using Mehron's Fantasy FX Cream Makeup in the shade Black to do the eyeliner. I'm using a fine tip brush to carefully make small strokes to create the wing, the outline, and then fill in the lower lashes. Once again, the product dries super quickly, which is really nice because I didn't have to worry about smudging it. Bringing back all three shades of the Fantasy FX cream makeup, I mix the red and white to create the pink shade for the lip, and then I use the black to outline it. I didn't want the outline to be super strong, so while the black was still slightly wet, I quickly blended out the edges into the pink shade. Then, to make the lips pop a little bit more, I used some of the Intense Pro Hot Pink Pressed Pigment, as well as using it to create the little heart on my cheek. And to go along with the cartoon effect, I used the white Fantasy FX cream makeup to add some highlights onto my lips. And then we're back to the ears for the final touches. And that is it. Here is my version of Draculaura. I hope you all enjoyed watching this process. Definitely go check out Mehron's products and maybe even try creating a Draculaura of your own.